Welcome to the Good Place Marionville Podcast, dedicating to highlighting the good right here in Marionville, Missouri. I think we can all agree that when we look back on high school, one of the memories that probably has a story attached to it is group projects. In my book, group projects were designed by teachers to teach you a lot about life. Deadlines, time management, delegation, and responsibility, avoiding procrastination, and so much more. So today, we have guests that have chosen to work on a project together with pretty high standards, and we get to hear all about it as they did it and made a few lessons. Maybe you're going to share some lessons that you guys have learned along the way. So our special guests are Krystal Stafford, who is a teacher and a coach and the FBLA advisor at Marionville High School, Kyle Smith and Bradin Gentry. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. We're excited.
All right. Well, we're excited to have you here. And I know you got to get out of school in order to do this show. And I hope that we really inspire the community to get involved in what you guys have going on. So thank you so much for joining us. Krystal, first, let's start with you. Tell everybody what you teach and how are you connected to these guys?
Okay. I teach high school business, computers, yearbook. I'm the FBLA advisor and the volleyball coach. And Kyle and Bradin are both actually officers of FBLA, which I'm an advisor for.
Tell people what FBLA is.
FBLA is Future Business Leaders of America. We do a lot within the club, but primarily, we compete with other schools in our area, in our district, in our state. The kids get to pick projects and different subjects to test over or present over. And these two work together this year on a coding and programming project, which we'll talk more about. I'll let them talk about.
Yes, I'm so excited about that. So Kyle and Bradin, welcome to the show. Tell everybody what grades you guys are in school.
So I'm a senior at the Marionville High School.
I'm a sophomore.
Senior and sophomore. Awesome. That's so good. I think it's good to give context because and then as we go along, if there's anything that you guys, we want to make sure we cover all of the details about what you guys have going on. But I'm going to ask you a few questions to get you started. So Kyle, tell us about this project that you guys decided to work on together.
All right. So Krystal said that it was a coding and programming project. And the theme we were given for the coding and programming project was a banking application. So if you ever use like a banking application with your own personal bank, Bank of America, Great Southern Bank, any of those banks across the United States, we had to create an application that allows individuals to manage their finances through the application. So we had to program everything from the user interface, from what you see on the screen, all the way to the back end, what happens in our database and how we handle user information.
So you were actually given the theme of it. Like you didn't get to come up with this. Like it was kind of presented. So are a bunch of people doing the same thing?
So yeah, every project that we have to create for FBLA, they give us a theme for it. So the theme for coding and programming was creating a banking application. And so everybody has the same concept, but of course we get to have the freedom of how we want to design it. So other people would maybe want to integrate other aspects or features, and we can create our own aspects and features based on what we feel like is appropriate for this situation.
That's amazing. So Bradin, is this the first time you've ever done something like this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was definitely a little nerve-wracking at first, but it ended up being nice.
Yeah? So what's your role been in?
It was really a big learning role for me at first. I learned the basics in Coach K's or Krystal's class.
Mrs. Stafford.
I'm so sorry. And Kyle taught me along the line. It was a multi-month little thing we were going through, and I really had to learn a lot of it.
Wow. So had you done any coding or anything like that before?
Yeah, I learned JavaScript in Miss Stafford's class, but we did TypeScript for this project, so it was a whole different thing I had to learn.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so how have you guys done it at working together? Either one of you.
So the things that we've done together really is based on presentation as well as creating like graphical user interfaces, like the images on our website or any of like the buttons. Like when we're designing that, most of the customization was mainly used for like Bradin, that he did that. But of course, I worked on like the back end side of it, handling user information.
Okay, but you both had to agree on like deadlines and when you were getting things done and how it was going to look like. What's that experience been like for you, Bradin?
It was definitely weird at the beginning because it felt like we had so much time to do it all. But then my whole computer stopped working in the middle
Oh
of this whole
no, of
project. So
course.
as soon as that happened, everything felt like it was speeding up and speeding up. So once that deadline was here, of course we had the project done. It was just it was weird to not be able to meet those set dates that we had to finish
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you've already competed, like tell us about the process. Like you've already competed locally, right?
Yeah, within the state.
Okay. And was that the event was your stuff actually submitted at the time like when Jim and I did the judging for the other areas, or was it a different timeline?
So we didn't actually submit the
Okay.
project, but we presented it.
So at districts, this is a straight to state
Okay.
project. So they
Okay.
did not compete at the district level. They
Got it.
simply presented their project at state.
Wow. Okay. So at state, you guys had to present, so you had to be ready and you had to feel polished. How did that go?
So when we were out state, main thing is, of course, we had to get familiar with the environment. So we really practice presenting as we were there because we wanted to make sure, since our application needed to use internet, we want to make sure our mobile hotspot worked.
Yeah.
And as we were presenting, everything we were using to present it from the judges worked flawlessly throughout the whole process.
Well, that's wonderful. So obviously you made it onto nationals. Krystal, have you ever had students make it onto nationals before?
Yeah, a few years ago, we took a group of girls to Atlanta. They qualified with their website project.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, Krystal, about the experience that a student sees when they go to nationals. And this year it's in Anaheim, California, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So what do they do when they're in Anaheim?
Oh my goodness. There's a really big, extravagant opening ceremony. We get to do some fun things that are optional, but they can go to a baseball game and go to Universal Studios for a day, and then they'll get to compete. They'll get to trade state pins with a bunch of other students. They have like kind of a fun day where they have food trucks and all these things to do where they can meet other students all over the nation. They even have kids come from China and UK that are a part of it as well. It's a very big and very fun event.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so guys, are you excited about this opportunity?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's great. Okay, so let's talk about the reality. The reality is that it costs money to make this kind of a trip and this kind of an adventure, and actually this amazing thing that you guys get to put on your resume. And the community is we're just banking on the community being behind you guys in this because it's huge to have an opportunity where you guys can actually go and have this experience, promote what you've been learning and how you've put it together and where this could take you for your future. So tell people, Krystal, how, or maybe you want the guys, I don't know, to how they can contribute, how they can get behind this effort and why there's a sense of urgency behind it.
Yeah, well, essentially, we have to register today to tell them we are going and how many hotel rooms we need. We're trying to raise $10,000 to cover our flights, our hotels, our vehicle when we get there, everything that we need to go. It costs to compete and just to enter. So essentially, we need to have all of this paid, most of it paid by May 16th. And we actually have, you can email me at kstafford@marionville.us if you're interested. We've been trying to send out emails. We posted some information on Facebook. There's a link there where you can say, hey, we'd love to give you a little bit, help you get there. We can come get that money from you, or you can mail it to us at either of the schools and we'll get a hold of that. But best way, if you have any questions, is just to email me at kstafford@marionville.us, and I would love to answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. Do you also want that Google Doc out there?
That'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'll
that'd be
put
great.
There's a Google Doc where you can sign up what your intentions are. But let's be real. They need to know that what you're going to give and how you can give. And I am sure they'll drive all over to pick up those checks
Yes,
and
they
take care
will.
of it. And so it is exciting. And we want to see you guys be able to do it. Kyle and Braden, I didn't ask you this. Is this in line with what you hope for your future? Kyle.
So, sort of. So I'm going to go to school for biomedical engineering, and based off biomedical engineering, you need to have some programming aspect, programming background. But it's not solely based on programming, obviously, because there's the medical aspect. But
Sure.
this will help me get into that career path.
Braden, has this kind of solidified a direction for you a little bit?
Yeah, I at the beginning of this year I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go, like fully in my future. It's only my sophomore year, but
Right.
doing this project, I enjoy it a lot, and I enjoy the tech scene, so I definitely am hoping to go into something like that in the future.
Well, fabulous. Well, community, I am just encouraging you to get behind these guys. They are an amazing representative of Marionville, and we'd love to see them get to Anaheim. So make sure to make any kind of gift that you can, whether it's personally or for your company. I know that they'll give shout outs and they will honor your support as best possible. I just want to throw out there, Krystal, there may be people that have points or things like that they can help you with a rental car and things like that too. So I am sure you can get creative on how they can help you. Okay, we're going to keep you guys on for the rest of the show. I don't have much news today, but Kyle, there is something that is happening this Sunday besides Star Wars Day. What would that be? So it's May the 4th. What's happening on May the 4th?
Marionville High School graduation.
Yes. So all the things, right? It's
Yes.
baccalaureate, it's graduation, people start celebrating, all of those things. So are you excited about that?
Oh, yeah, that'll be really cool to actually do that.
Can you believe it's actually almost here?
That's really crazy, to be honest. 12 years in the making just for this one moment.
Right. That's right. And so we need to get you back to school so you can finish taking tests and get things going. But I do want to let everybody know that this episode of the Good Place Marionville podcast is sponsored by Todd Wright with Alpha Realty. I'll put the links to how you can connect with Todd in the show notes. But Todd has a passion for all forms of real estate, whether it's commercial, agricultural, or residential. Thanks, Todd, for your work right here in Marionville and for supporting the podcast. We also want to thank the Bank of Billings for being a podcast sponsor. As we heard on the show today, technology is ever changing, and that's why the Bank of Billings is working hard to update their offerings with better online banking, mobile banking, and updated ATM and ITMs. Maybe someday they'll even be using your program. Who knows? Member FDIC and equal housing lender. I just want to highlight a few other things in nonprofit news. The Ozark Manor is hosting a bed turning tomorrow at 2:00. And no, this is not a time to flip their mattresses. It's a time to show off the quilts that you may have as in your life that have a very special meaning. So you can contact Renee if you're interested in being part of the bed turning. And then the very next day, as if that was not enough excitement, it's karaoke night at the Manor. Okay, guys, have you ever done karaoke?
No, I have not.
I have that you did. Krystal,
Yeah, I have.
So awesome. Well, if you want to join them tomorrow on the 30th at 6:30, I will put the phone number in the link as well for all of you that are wishing that you could practice some of your karaoke skills. I'm sure it will be a lot of fun. Hey, in city news, I just wanted to remind everybody that the city sewer cleaning is happening right now. And just watch the city Facebook page for details as they move around the city. I do know from when they were doing it last year, it is important to plug your drains and close your toilets when they are in your area. So make sure you're aware of where things are happening. And if you're not sure, I would encourage you to use Text My Gov, which is the app that the city uses, and ask them questions and find out what's happening there. So you can go to the city website in order to find out that information. All right, in other huge news around town, we are having a huge rummage sale at 112 South Central, which is right across from City Hall. A lot of people don't know what that building is all about. It's been sitting empty for a while, but we are having a sale there this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. For decades, there's been items collecting there that will be for sale, mostly at 25 cents each, in order to get the stuff back in circulation and to make room for what's next at the building. So tell your friends, plan on spending lots of time there, searching through everything to find the treasures that you may be wishing that you'd always had, and you'll find them there. So we do also have some bigger items that will be priced individually, but everything from dishes and silverware to sporting equipment, and my goodness, the list goes on and on. But I'll put the event link for Facebook out there for everybody to see. So thank you, Krystal, Kyle, and Braden, for joining us for the Good Place Marionville podcast today. And I just want to encourage the community to rally around you and show your support by helping financially with getting these guys to Anaheim. So thanks for being with me.
Thank you so much for having us.
It is our pleasure as always. So thanks again to the Bank of Billings and Todd Wright with Alpha Realty for sponsoring today's podcast. Consider becoming a sponsor. You can contact us at goodplacemarionville@hotmail.com. You can use that same email address to report any good news that you may see happening around town. And this right here is good news. If you really enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified when a new episode releases. Thank you for joining us for the Good Place Marionville podcast. Keep your eyes out for the good, and together, let's celebrate Marionville.